There we go. All right. So good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the first day of fall term. Did everyone have a good summer break? Yeah. Anybody do anything fun in the last month?
No.
You didn't do anything fun? No. No. Okay. Well, maybe we'll talk about the fun stuff later. Let's get to the important things. So my name is Mike Metcalf. I'll be your instructor for Social Justice, Social Justice 12. Of course, this class is going to go until the first week of December, right? And so what we'll do today is I'll give you just a little kind of idea of what the class might be like, some of the things we might talk about in it. I'll tell you how it'll be graded and things like that. And then, spoiler alert here, but I'll let you out early because it's the first day. We don't want to strain ourselves on the first day. It's like when you go back to the gym, you don't go and, lift a bunch of heavy weights because you'll die, right? So you've got to just ease yourself back into it, right? So that's what we'll do today. To let you know what's going on here, because I'm not entirely sure if we have students online. So last term and the term before, I had students who were in the class here, like you, and then I had students who were in other countries. And so what's happening right now is that I'm streaming this live to YouTube. And so YouTube can see me, YouTube can hear me, and so when I go to show you things on the screen here, I'll do something like this. And so people watching on YouTube will be able to see that as well. And so that kind of allows people who are in another country to get sort of the same experience that you have in the classroom. And Zartaj, you've done both, right? Because you started out online in Bangladesh, right? And then you came here. So I don't know if it was close to similar, but it was not. That's fair. This is, I think, almost the best I can do in terms of, make.
Almost close to similar, but not similar.
Yeah.
But it's kind of it's easier if we can interact with you.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely, it is, right? So. Yeah, so this is kind of how I work it. Again, I'm not really sure if there's going to be any online students here, but if there are, we'll do the class here, but we can also, but they'll be able to see what's going on here. And if there's anyone watching, I think there might be a few people online. If you want to just type in a quick hi or hello in the live chat, then I can, for online people, I can see that. And then if you have questions or if you want to add something to the discussion, I can see that. So if you want to give it a try, if you're watching online, yeah. So Jesse's here, and I can put Jesse on the screen. Hey Jesse, nice to see you there. Alicia is here, so good morning, Alicia. I can put you on the screen too. So I can kind of do stuff like that. Kayla is here. Hello, Kayla. And I think there might be one more person watching, but I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, this is how I've run it. Maybe it's not perfect, but it seems to work. And again, hopefully we'll be, we can move away from the online thing and we can be back to in person maybe for next term. But I think for this term, still we're going to be doing a bit of both, right? But without further ado, let's kind of let's jump in. But let's jump in. So this class, of course, is Social Justice 12. If you're looking for math or something else, of course, you're in the wrong place. And so what we'll be looking at in this course is talking about kind of the basic idea of equality, and maybe the bigger question in this class is what kind of society do we want to live in, right? Because again, we're all human beings, right? And one of the things that if you didn't know about human beings, you can probably guess about human beings. We are social animals, right? We live in groups, we cooperate, we have to kind of live together and work together. And one of the questions that every society has to answer is, how are we going to do that, right? How are we going to live together? What kind of rules are we going to follow? And what kind of society are we trying to create, right? How do we want things to be? And they are playing recorders over there. Okay. They'll probably get better as the term goes on, I hope. And Adon is here. There he is. Good. Oh, there's lots of people here. Okay, so Adon is here. Good morning, Adon. And Harry is here. Good morning, Harry. Good morning, or hello to Kenya. So yeah, every society has to figure out what kind of society it wants to build, and a lot of people would want to convince you that the way that human societies work, well, it's natural, right? That's just how humans do it. But as I'll try to, good morning, come in. As I'll try to outline for you, a lot of the things that humans do are, in fact, not natural, right? Or at least the rules that we create are not natural. They're just rules that we have decided upon, right? In terms of the way we behave, the way we act, the things that we believe in, the way we interact with each other, our values, all of those things are kind of chosen by various societies. And so they're different, right? They're not necessarily natural. They're just things we've decided on. And so if we can decide on one set of rules and values and beliefs, we can also decide on another set as well, right? So I'll try to kind of show you some of that. But again, I think the big question here is, what kind of society do we want to live in? And if there is inequality, which there is, and I suspect there always will be, if there's inequalities in our society, are we comfortable with those inequalities, right? Do we believe that they are justified, right? Do we believe that they are okay, right? Is it okay for this to be unequal, or is it not, right? So we'll talk about all of these things as we go forward. You'll probably recognize some of these terms, like prejudice and discrimination, and maybe privilege and oppression and things like that. We'll define all of those. We'll talk about what they are so that we can have really good conversations about things like racism and sexism, and classism and heterosexism and religious oppression and all kinds of things, okay? I'm going to back up for a second. Any questions on that so far? No? In this class, if you have a question, you can just, give me a quick wave and shoot it out, okay? So you can always ask anything you want. You can always speak. It's fine, right? The more you talk in this class, to be honest, the more interesting it will be, right? Because I'm not that interesting. I'm quite boring, and so if it's just me talking, it might be a very boring term. So I do want you to speak. I'm very happy to hear what you have to say. I want to hear what you have to say. So in terms of course materials here, there's a PDF textbook that I have called Introduction to Sociology, and I'll post it in Student Portal for you. To be honest, we won't use it that much. There's a few parts I've kind of borrowed from it that I'll ask you to read, but you'll see when you open it, it's probably 300 pages, and we'll probably read like 8 of them. So don't panic when you see it. It's not something that we'll be looking into too much. Most of what this course is about, I will give you. So it'll be stuff that's on the screen. There'll be videos. There'll be articles for you to read. There'll be Steve in the hall. Hey, Steve.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Welcome back to you. Although you've been here, and
Yeah.
but
Good to see you.
likewise. This is Steve. Steve's in our IT department.
Hi.
He fixes all of my IT issues when I have them, which is not that often, but
Yeah.
still.
But we're here.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Anyways,
Thanks, man.
see ya.
Right. So most of what I'll give you will have nothing to do with Steve. it'll be on the screen, it'll be articles to read, so there's no real textbook for you to worry about for this course, okay? That said, pretty much everything we do in this class will be, I'll either post it on Student Portal, I'll post it in Microsoft Teams, or it'll be on YouTube, right? So everything will be kind of available to you. It should be impossible to miss anything in this class, but some people still have, but it should be impossible. There's some learning outcomes here, and maybe I won't go through all of them. You'll see them in the syllabus that I have posted for you. But I'll just say basically what we're trying to do here is we want to learn a little bit about social justice. We want to learn a little bit about society and how societies work. We want to learn about inequality and how to talk about these things. But in doing so, we really want to practice our thinking, our critical thinking skills. That's really what we want to kind of exercise here. So we'll be learning things, but we also want to try and work those muscles in our heads that allow us to think critically. And it's not an easy thing to do, right? And lots of people don't do it very well, I'm sorry to admit. And even I don't do it very well all the time. I think sometimes that's what we're seeing, when we, clearly you guys are on social media, right? And you see lots of people arguing back and forth about maybe racism or sexism or things like that, right? People are having very passionate and angry exchanges with each other, and often very quickly. But I think part of that is because people don't have very good critical thinking skills. They don't know how to talk about the things they're trying to talk about, and so they're just kind of yelling at each other instead. And really, what this class kind of wants to teach us is how to understand ideas, how to talk about them, how to figure out if, somebody has a good point or if they don't, right? How to figure out if somebody is making a good argument, if you should believe something, or if they're not, right? And I think that's becoming more and more important, right? Our world is becoming more complex, but it's also becoming more, it's becoming more of a world in which knowing information isn't that big a deal, right? Because does anyone use Siri on their phone? You do? Yeah. And Siri knows everything, right? Yeah, so humans don't really need to know everything anymore because Siri knows everything, right? We have to be able to do things that Siri can't do, right? And Siri cannot really think critically, right? She just kind of does what she's told for now. Maybe in another few years she'll be telling us what to do, but hopefully not. We need to be able to think about things, right? And debate and understand and critique. And that's kind of what this course is about, trying to figure these things out in a little more depth, okay? So again, there's a bunch of learning outcomes here, but to summarize them, it's about thinking critically, understanding information, making arguments, figuring out what someone else's argument is. Morning, Gordon. And if it's a good argument, these are some of the things that we'll be doing. Okay. There's also some core competencies. I won't talk too much about these, but they have to do with communication. So, are we doing a good job communicating with other people, right? When we speak and when we write, I'll try to highlight that when we're doing it. Thinking, of course, the critical thinking is a big part of this class, and so it's a big part of that competency as well. And then kind of personal and social. And this class is really good for that because there's a lot of ways in this class to connect with our social lives, with our society, with the place that we live, but also with ourselves, right? Because one of the things that we'll be talking about when we talk about sexism or racism or heterosexism or whatever kind of thing we're talking about, those are all parts of your identity, right? Your race, your gender, your sexuality, your religion, your nationality, right? All of those things are pieces of your identity. So with most of these topics, in theory, there'll be a way to kind of connect it to yourself, right? Because you all live in a society and you will all have an identity, right? And if you have a society, or if you live in a society and you have an identity, then there's a way to take this material and connect it to your life, right? In one way or another. Okay? I'm not going to say too much more about that. In terms of evaluation, this is how I will evaluate you. We'll have some assignments to do. The assignments are worth kind of a lot, and I always have it in my mind that I'm going to do lots of them, right? That the idea is like I'll give lots of assignments, and that will be a good measure of how things are going. But often what I find is that as we go through the term, it's a short term, right? Lots of most high school students who do this class in BC, they have 5 months to do it, right? And we have quite a bit less than that. And so because the course is delivered in such a short period of time, and there's quizzes to deal with, and there'll be a final assignment to deal with, I can't really give that many assignments because we're constantly kind of learning something, and then there's a quiz, and then we're dodging this and that. And so I can't tell you, how many assignments there'll be right now, but there probably won't be a huge amount, just because I just feel there's not enough room to learn what we need to learn and then do assignments at the same time, okay? But I'll give you kind of as many as I can manage to give and mark without it being, too much, okay? Attendance is worth 10%. Attendance is an important part of courses here at Columbia College because, again, we're doing these things really fast, right? So if you miss a day or two, that's a big chunk, right? You've kind of missed a lot of things. And so don't be absent, right? If you're sick, don't come to school, right? I think we're all we've been living in a pandemic for long enough now, although it seems like 100 years. We've all been living with this for long enough that, yeah, if you have symptoms, don't come to school. Contact me, contact Deborah and Maria, and we'll get that sorted out. But if you're not sick, you got to be here, right? And it's going to be difficult. 8 o'clock in the morning is early, is it not? Probably especially this morning, because who's been getting up at 8 for the past few weeks? Really? Oh, okay. So this is easy for you then. Yeah, I've been getting up at like 9:30 or 10. So yeah, getting up this morning was a bit of a chore, and it'll become a little more difficult too because the days will get shorter as we go toward December. So soon we're going to be getting up and it'll still be dark, and that's no fun. But we got to be here, right? I got to be here, so do you. So make sure you're here every day. The best way to succeed in this course is to be here every day. Yeah. Quizzes, we'll have, I think, 5 short quizzes. Again, they'll be very short. I'll give you 5 questions usually, and you'll just write answers to them. They're very simple. And then we'll do a final assignment. Last term, we did kind of a presentation assignment. We might do that again. I'm going to think about it a little bit. I did kind of enjoy seeing presentations last term at the end, so we may do that again because I enjoyed it. But I'll think about that. Okay, but that's kind of how I'll mark you. Yeah. So attendance, I said you've got to be here. If you are sick, again, don't come to school. Contact me, contact Deborah and Maria. If you miss an assignment that's due on that day or a quiz, I got to give you a 0, right? So please show up, and then all of your problems will be solved, okay? I won't say too much about this. I think most high school students have a pretty good grasp that the idea that you're not supposed to cheat on your tests and quizzes and things like that. And you don't want to plagiarize either, right? So you want to make sure that when you're submitting work that's written, that work is yours. And I'll try to give you some tips on how to avoid plagiarism a little bit later. Sometimes it's easy to avoid it. Sometimes it's a little more difficult, but we'll try to talk about it at the appropriate point so that it will be helpful for you, okay? But I won't say too much about that. There's a code of conduct that is in the syllabus, which I won't go over because you're all perfectly well-behaved, civilized people, and so I don't have to worry too much about it. As I say, in terms of this classroom, actually this is interesting. Normally what I say is, if you want to bring your drinks in here, that's fine, or if you want to eat, that's fine, because sometimes it's early, or you're going from class to class. I'm just wondering, I guess we can eat on top of these, can't we? Or I don't know, are there special rules for this room? I've never been in this room before. You know what, let me get back to you on that, because again, if you spill your coffee on a regular desk, fine, clean it up, but if you spill it on these, it might be a bit more of a thing, but so let me check into it, okay? Probably okay, as long as you've got a solid top on it, it's probably fine. Yeah, and if you bring in some breakfast or whatever in the morning, just make sure you bring enough for everybody, because we're all hungry too. And yeah, if you bring and if you bring food, don't microwave fish and then bring it in here. You won't make any friends that way, but as long as it's, don't make a mess, and don't, make sure your food doesn't stink too much, and then it's fine. If it smells really good, you might have people saying, hey, do you have any extra? But okay, remember to check your email, right? So the college will email you things. Mostly, actually, when I'm talking to students nowadays, it seems that Microsoft Teams works best. Students seem to like to use Teams a little more than email. But if you send me an email, I'll respond to you. If you send me a Teams message, I'll respond to you. Sartaj sent me a Teams message this morning, and I didn't respond to him, but I only saw it when we started, so I'll talk to you after if you want. But yeah, I will respond to you that way. But monitor your email, monitor your Teams, just in case something pops up, right? And I can notify you about quizzes, or if for some reason I can't be here. If I get sick, hopefully I won't, but if I get sick, I will let you know, and then then you'll be able to sleep in, right? So from time to time here we'll have safety drills, fire drills or earthquake drills or things like that, and so I'll let you know how those go at the appropriate time. And yeah, so that kind of concludes my kind of spiel on what the course is about. I have most of the information you've seen here. I have in a proper course syllabus, and it is it's posted in where is it? It's in Student Portal under Course Documents. Okay, and so I'll post things there. I'll also post them in Microsoft Teams. Maybe I'll put the syllabus in Microsoft Teams too, just so it's in both places. But you can look over it. What's that? The slides are also posted in Microsoft or in Student Portal as well. Yeah. So I try to make sure that you have everything you need to be successful here. How does that sound so far? Does anyone have any questions, or have things come up for you, or no? Okay. Before we do the next thing, I just wanted to take attendance here because I'm supposed to, but also because it will help me to learn everyone's name. So let me just see who I've got. So I've got I've got an Etel or Etel here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's you.
Hi.
Hello. Am I saying your name correctly?
Edsel.
Etel? Okay. It's very nice to meet you. Thank you for being here. Um, I know Adon is here. He's online because he said hello. So good morning to you, Adon. I have a Peter here, but I think I know who Peter is, and I don't see him. So I think he's not here. I have an Arad. Is that you? Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Welcome. Nice to meet you. So Arad is here. I have a Jesse who said hello earlier. So good morning, Jesse. I'll just mark you down here. I have Dunya. That's you? Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Dunya? Okay, no problem. Very nice to meet you. Dunya, okay. Let's see. I've got Eunice. That's you're Eunice?
Yeah.
Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay. Nice to meet you,
Nice to meet you.
Eunice. Glad you're here. Eunice is here. Alicia is here. She's online, and I saw her sign in earlier. That's good. I saw Harry sign in, so Harry's there. Good morning, Harry. I've got Crazio, and I know who Crazio is, and I also know he's not here, so I'm just going to mark him that way. I've got Kayla online, so I'm going to mark her here. I have Unadi here, don't I? Nice to meet you in person.
Yes, thank you.
How was the flight over?
Very.
Very hectic?
Yeah.
Where did you have to fly through?
From Kenya to here to first flight was for 9 hours and the second
Ooh, those are long. So the first one was from Kenya to where?
Amsterdam.
Oh, to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Amsterdam to.
Vancouver.
Wow. Nice that you had direct flights, but boy, those are.
Yeah.
Was the food good?
Not
I know airline food is more like it's more like something to do, right? It's like, oh, now, we'll be served dinner, so this will be, an event, right, in the middle of 10 hours of. Yeah. How's Vancouver so far?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you how long have you been here?
2 3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a really beautiful city, and there's lots of things to do, and it's beautiful, and it's great. Yeah, glad you're here. Did you talk to your parents? Are they okay?
Every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one calling me once.
She miss you?
Yeah, really worried.
What's that?
Yeah, she's really worried about me.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh, she can.
Now she's okay. When I arrived, she was a little bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, you'll be. I imagine you'll be reasonably safe here. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Glad you're here. You're so much bigger in real life. You're on my screen, and you were just tiny, and now you're. Yeah, I'm glad you're here, Nadi. And of course, Sartaj right in the front row. I know you, so I'm going to mark you here. All right, so that's actually most people. That's good. Oh, there's Peter. I see you. Peter is online, so I'm going to mark him. Although Peter, I think you should be an in-person student, shouldn't you? Aren't you here in Vancouver? I'm going to mark you here for today, but just in case. Unless I'm confused and I don't know who you are, but I think I do know who you are. Okay, so maybe the last thing we'll do here today. The last thing we'll do. Oh, you're in. Okay, gotcha. Okay, no problem, Peter. What I'd like you to do. Okay, I understand. Okay, that's cool, Peter. Welcome back. Let's see. So I have 5 questions for you here, and what I'd like you to do is maybe just take a couple minutes and talk to each other about any one of these questions that you like. And so we've got we've got 6. Okay. So can I have Eunice and Dunya together? And can I have Unadi and Zartaj together? And Etel and Arad together? Is that okay? Just talk to each other for a few minutes. Pick any of these questions that sort of jumps out to you. Online people, I know you don't really have anyone to talk to, but just think about one of these questions on your own and maybe just type up a sentence or two that responds to it, and then we can put it on the screen, okay? It's not as good for online, but bear with me. So, yeah, answer any one of these questions that you like, okay? And I'll give you a few minutes here.
When I was born, my parents took me to the pastor took my parents and worship me in the room. That's how I got my name. It's from the Bible. What do you? Thank you. The meaning. Yeah, maybe the yeah. We got the language from there, so that's what we went to
Okay, people. That was good. Let's see did anyone answer question number 1 in the room? Yeah? Yeah? What did you say for the biggest problem facing the world today?
I think the most important essential problem in this society or in our society is unequality.
Is what?
Unequality.
Inequality. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, I think that's one thing that we should deal with in the future.
Okay. So biggest problem in the world today is inequality. Yeah. And there's a lot of it, right?
Yeah, a lot of type of inequality.
Yeah, within
Sexual, yeah, races, and anything, any type of inequality.
yeah, and I think one of the things that seems to come up in the news is that or seems to be coming up in the news more and more is that even if you don't agree, right, even if you say no, inequality isn't the biggest problem, whatever the other problem is,
Really,
inequality
it is
make
related to inequality.
yeah, inequality makes it worse for some, right?
For some reason.
Yeah, that's very true. I think. Well, you're in luck because that's almost all we'll talk about in this class. So, I see. I'm going to put this up here. So Kayla said this. She said that global warming is in fact the biggest problem. I think a small but great thing we do is speak up on this issue as well as educate ourselves. Yeah, absolutely, right? And I think I don't know what's going on in other countries, but I know in Canada that's something that we've had kind of there's COVID to deal with, but we've also had a summer of pretty extreme weather, right? We're seeing hurricane after hurricane and forest fires and floods, and here in Vancouver, I don't know if any of you were here. Gosh, when was it? End of July for that heat dome thing. Wow, right? And so I think
That was not the first time.
well, it was I think it was the hottest it's been here almost ever. I think it was incredibly hot. That's
It's like
That was the record
it's like 36.
yeah. It felt like I think it felt like it was 45 or something, or was it?
Actually,
Yeah,
36.
Yeah, it was
That's high.
very unpleasant.
a lot of people have strokes because of that.
Yeah, some people died as a result because they weren't able to stay cool enough. They were older people, or yeah, it was very unpleasant. It was very unpleasant. But yeah, there's again, I can't speak for all around the world, but here in Canada I know we've been noticing a lot of those extreme weather events, and so it's kind of made people pay attention to things like climate change a little bit more, and it's clearly yeah, that's a big deal, right? Anyone else answer the first one? No. What about number 2? Yeah. Okay.
So, parents obviously.
Who?
Parents.
Your parents? Yeah. Why do you respect your parents?
Because they give me birth and they care and love me.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good reason. I'm sure you're very easy to care for and to love, but Zertaj, what did you say?
I also have the same answer.
Yeah.
I respect my parents most because they gave me birth, they nurtured me, they care about me a lot.
Yeah.
They're very humble people.
Yeah.
I talk to them every day.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. Anyone else?
You have to respect your parents also. I don't know. Like you can choose to every single person in your life counts on your family. So
Yeah.
you have to respect them.
Yeah.
Respect all those who you care the most.
Yeah.
It's not just your parents.
That's true, right? Yeah, it's important to. Yeah, I mean, some people get more, right?
In this society, you can choose your family.
Yeah, that's true as well, right? Some people, in anthropology, I think an anthropologist would call these people fictive kin, right? But yeah, you can make people part of your family who might not be biologically related to you, but who, you know, they they become your family, right? And that's, yeah, you get to do that too. And yeah, you can offer them your love and respect and care as well, right? Yeah. Hey.
I keep thinking this is Deborah's office.
Nope, not Deborah's office. Um, let's see. Let's see. Anyone answer number 3? Can I just ask you, because it's an easy question? What makes you the happiest? What's that?
It depends on which person.
Sure. That's why I'm asking each person.
For me, making friends and hanging out and having a good time with people makes me happy.
Okay, so yeah, so relationships with friends, right? Hanging out, spending time with them. Yeah, that's okay. What else? What else makes you happy?
Helping others.
What's that?
Helping others.
Helping others? That's a good one, yeah. That feels good. Social justice 12? What? Somebody no? I didn't hear that? Okay. This must have been a weird echo or something, I don't know. What else? Anyone else want to share what makes them happy?
For now, it's probably talking to my mom and looking at pictures of my dog.
Yeah. Dogs back home?
Yeah, I miss him so much, even though it's only been less than a month.
Yeah. What's the dog's name?
Bailey.
Bailey?
He's a corgi.
Oh, they're cute.
Yeah.
They're cute. Yeah. Animals animals make a lot of people happy.
One more thing that makes me happy is having you as my teacher.
Okay. Thank you. I don't know if I can believe that, Zartaj, but I'll take it.
I'm being honest.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're one of the best teachers among all the teachers in all the world.
Thank you. But I'm no corgi. I'm no corgi. Can I ask you this one? What's tough about being what's tough about being the age that you are right now? What's tough? Because you guys are 17-ish.
Arguing with parents.
What's that?
Arguing with parents.
Sorry, I didn't hear that at all.
Arguing with parents.
Arguing with his parents. He said.
Oh, arguing with parents. Yeah, that's tough, right? Because you're right at that stage where you can, you're clearly.
Freedom.
What's that?
Have the freedom.
Yeah, you want that freedom and you can make decisions, but you're also kind of dependent on your parents, right? You can't just say, well, I'm doing what I want, right? You can't quite do that yet, right? Yeah, that is for sure difficult. What other things are difficult about being the age you are right now?
Insecurities.
Yeah? Yeah?
Whether people like you or not, or like your appearance or something. I think a lot of teenagers think about that.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I don't know if this will make you feel better or worse, but those things don't often go away. Like
Yeah.
adults feel them, older people feel them as well, right? Those
Yeah.
insecurities, and so it's, yeah, I mean, the good news is you're not alone. The bad news is it's not a teenager phenomenon.
Yeah.
It's a human phenomenon. What else? What else is difficult about being the age you are right now? What's that?
Overthink a lot.
Over
Oh, yeah.
Overthink a lot.
overthink? Like what kind of things get overthought about?
Like thinking of your parents or like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
About everything.
About yeah. Well, yeah. I think that's. Yeah, I think, again, that's another human thing, right? Is that sometimes there's a lot to think about, and sometimes we get stuck in our head, right? And we think about things, and we think about, the worst possible scenario, and yeah, yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Kayla here mentioned, she mentioned peer pressure. Yeah, that can be tough as well. Actually, we'll talk about that because we'll talk about it just a little later in this course, because that's a very human thing to do as well, right? Societies constantly pressure us to do things, right? To follow the rules and do the right thing, but we'll talk about that a little later. But yeah, it can be tough, right? Especially when those things are connected to maybe insecurities, or will people like me if I don't do this, or if I do this, and yeah, it's tough. It's difficult, right? What about the last one? Did anyone mention that, or did anyone do that? The story? Yeah. Do you feel comfortable sharing it? Okay. Okay. Okay.
They fought on it. And then, because my dad, used to be all, Hela is the name of the dog and all that, so
Okay.
I didn't do it. And then she still calls me Hela, but my dad is Filipino.
Oh, okay.
But my name is actually
Oh, okay.
I like the name of.
So your dad kind of got his way, but your mom still calls you that anyway?
Yeah, because my dad was like Vinia and Juana for my other sister.
Yeah.
Like in Max Morris, but my mom.
Oh, okay.
Good morning, Casey.
Hmm?
Good morning, Casey.
Thank you.
Yeah. Eunice, did you?
Yeah, I forgot the meaning of my name actually, but I think before I was born, my parents asked I forgot, was it a priest or a pastor?
Mm-hmm.
And he suggested that they name me Eunice, and yeah, so when I was born, that's my name.
Mm-hmm.
And even though my parents didn't really want it to be my first name, but they just went along with it, and I just know it's from the Bible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is, but I think it's an Old Testament
Someone's mom,
name.
I think, on the Bible.
Yeah, I don't know my Old Testament very well, so yeah, it sounds biblical, but I don't know who Eunice is in the Bible.
Timothy's mom, I think, if I'm
Oh.
not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Very nice. I did this question. This is the last thing we'll do, and then I'll let you go. This question, the story of your name, came up when I was in a little teaching session, I guess it was, or a seminar, and it was an icebreaker, to get people to talk to each other. So I was like, okay. So I started talking to the person. I think it was actually Tom, who's next door. I think I was talking to Tom, and I told him the story of my name, and I'd never actually thought about it very much. So my name is, my mom chose it. My mom gave it to me, but where it comes from is that it's a biblical name as well. But when she was younger, she had 3 older sisters, and the oldest sister was dating this guy named Michael. And my mom, who, her oldest sister probably would have been 20 or so at the time, but my mom would have been like 14. So she was, had a crush on this, cute guy that her sister was dating, and that was his name. And so the older sister eventually got married to this guy, so he's my uncle now. but she named me after this guy that she thought was so dreamy, which I never really thought anything of until I was telling the story, and then I thought, well, that's kind of weird. Like what? Like, aren't you normally named after your dad? Because like your dad is the guy, right? But now I'm named after this other guy that she had a crush on, and I was like, that's kind of weird, isn't it? So I told the story, and then I became confused and kind of started asking a lot of questions. But but that's the story of my name anyway. It was my mom. Well, my mom chose it, and it was, you know, she thought this guy was just the greatest guy, and I have met him. He's a very nice man. But that's where mine came from. Very quickly, just because I'm curious, where is everyone originally from in the world? Bangladesh, Kenya, Iran, Kazakhstan. Cool. I haven't had a Kazakh student for a few years now, so I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad you're here to represent Kazakhstan. Eunice,
Indonesia.
you're from Indonesia, and
Syria.
you're from Syria. Cool. And online people, if you don't mind letting me know where you're from, I am kind of curious. I know Peter is from Russia, and I see Harry is from Kenya. Adon, I think. Oh gosh, are you in Bangladesh too, Adon? I've forgotten. Unfortunately. Let's see. Jesse's from Nigeria. Cool. Kayla's from Indonesia. Alicia's from Rwanda. Very cool. Yeah, I'm always just kind of curious because, you know, one of the neat things about teaching here and going to school here is that you meet people from all over the world, right? So yeah, sometimes I'm just a little curious where people have come from. So I think that's kind of all I have to share. Actually, the only thing I forgot to mention today, which I will mention for people who are in the class here, is that the microphone on my computer probably doesn't pick up what you say, okay? So what I'm saying here, I am broadcasting to the internet, okay? But when you say something, you're not, right? So they can't really hear. So I'll try to, for the online people, I'll kind of summarize what you say sometimes, but they can't actually hear your voice. So don't worry, you're not speaking to the entire internet here. I have like, nobody watches this channel, so it's not as if nobody's ever going to hear what you say. But if you're concerned or self-conscious about that, don't worry. The world cannot hear you not through my YouTube channel anyway. Hey, I have like 50 followers now, or subscribers. It's really, yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Otherwise, I think that's all I have for you today. And so I'll let you go. Tomorrow we'll kind of start in with the real social justice stuff. If you have questions, you can Teams message me. If you have questions, you can Teams message me, or you can email me. The course syllabus is on Student Portal under Course Documents. I'll post the lecture slides there as well as we go through. Yeah, and I think that's what yes, miss?
Sorry.
Yeah?
Do you require us to bring to class like any folder or notebook or anything like that?
Let's see. Most people, the way I was working it last term is that I didn't really print anything out because most people had a device with them, either their laptop or their phone. And so I would use, if there was something I wanted you to read, like an article, I would post it in Microsoft Teams, and most people kind of read it on their phone. So if you want to, take some notes or, write things down or type things out, I would recommend you bring it. But I think if you have a phone with Microsoft Teams installed on it, then that should be okay. You should be able to easily read through what we might be reading through on the day. And then of course videos and stuff I'll put up here. That's a good question though. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? No. No. Okay. So that's all for today then. Thank you all for being here. It was nice meeting you all. Yeah, and we'll see you tomorrow, okay? All right. Online people, same thing. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you at 8 o'clock tomorrow, and we'll begin, okay? Send me any questions if you have them, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.